iGrow International School, one and only one CBSE school in Arstopai, where your life begins. Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to our biology class. Today let us discuss the previous topic, the fundamental unit of life. What did we discuss in the previous class, students? In the fundamental unit of cell or life, discovery of cell, and we also discussed about various scientists, isn't it? So let us recall them. Before going to know about the cell as a fundamental unit, let us have a puzzle. It's Sunday and the children are taken up to do the puzzle. Let us watch to solve the puzzle. Look like some animal. Picture puzzles are very interesting. Students, every little piece in the puzzle has its own place. An essential building unit just as a cell. Cell is the fundamental unit of life in all living organisms. It has its own job cut out. Puzzle is almost done. Oh, can you guess? It's panda. Well done. Students, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to list the scientists involved in the discovery of cell, describe the working of a compound microscope, describe the microscopic examination of a plant cell, describe the microscopic examination of an animal cell, compare the shape of cell to its functions, define and identify unicellular and multicellular organisms. Define and identify prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Describe the structure of bacterial cell.
Hi, I'm the great builder. Nobody knew me until my good friend, Mr. Hook, spotted me through a microscope and gave me a name. Living organisms know me better as cell. Does that ring a bell? You will soon know more about me. The discovery of cells dates back to the 17th century and is associated with the invention of microscopes. Marcello Malpighi, a microscopist, proposed that plants are made of tiny structural units called utricles. In 1665, Robert Hooke, an English scientist, looked at a thin slice of cork through a compound microscope. He observed many tiny, hollow, room-like structures that resembled a honeycomb and called them cells. Hooke actually saw only the outer cell walls because cork cells are not alive. Leeuwenhoek in 1674, with the improved microscope, discovered free-living cells in pond water for the first time. Robert Brown in 1831 discovered the nucleus in the cell. Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell. Two biologists, Schleiden in 1838 and Schwann in 1839, proposed the cell theory that all plants and animals are composed of cells. Rudolf Virchow in 1855 further expanded the cell theory by saying omnis cellula e cellula, which means all cells arise from pre-existing cells.
All living organisms are made up of with the cell and their products. All living cells arises from pre-existing cells. There are different types of, those are plant cell and animal cell. Cellular, which means a little room. Plant cell, animal cell cannot be seen without naked eye.
So, without the microscope, you would have never known me. That's why I consider the microscope to be one of the greatest inventions of mankind.
Let's see how a compound microscope works. The specimen to be observed is placed on a glass slide. The slide is then placed on the stage under an objective piece in the middle of the microscope. The light reflected from the mirror passes onto the object. From the eyepiece, a magnified image of the specimen can be seen. The side knobs are turned to get a sharper image.
Activity from our textbook. Students, aim to prepare a temporary mount of onion peel and study plant cell. Materials required: cover slip, glycerin, slide, onion, watch glass, glycerin, distilled water, saffron, forceps, brush, needle. Finally, we require compound microscope, blotting paper, dropper. Procedure.
Pour some distilled water from a bottle into a watch glass. Take half a piece of onion and remove leaves from the onion piece. Remove a piece of transparent onion peel with the forceps. Put the epidermis into a watch glass containing distilled water. Take some saffron in solution using a dropper. Put a few drops of saffron in solution into another watch glass. Using a brush, transfer the peel into the watch glass containing saffron in solution. Keep the epidermis for 30 seconds in saffron in solution so the peel can become stained. Take the peel from the saffron in solution using the brush and put it in the watch glass containing distilled water. Using a dropper, take some glycerine and put 2 to 3 drops of glycerine in the middle of a dry glass slide. Transfer the peel to the slide containing glycerine using the brush. Take a cover slip and place it gently on the peel with the help of a needle. Remove the extra glycerine using a blotting paper. Take the glass slide and place it under the compound microscope. View the slide under the compound microscope. Observation. A large number of regularly shaped cells are lying side by side. Each cell has a distinct cell wall. A distinct nucleus is present on the periphery of each cell. Lightly stained cytoplasm is observed in each cell. Vacuole is present in the center of each cell, surrounded by the cytoplasm.
Students, what do you observe? Let us conclude. In plant cell, students, what do you observe here? In the plant cell, onion peel cell, rigid cell wall, cell membrane, peripherally nucleus and vacuoles are present, isn't it? Precautions. Use a brush to transfer field from one apparatus to another. Staining of field should either be dark or not to be light. Extra glycerin stains should be removed by using blotting paper. Describe the microscopic examination of an animal cell in chick cells. Aim to prepare a stained temporary mount of human chick cell. Materials Materials required.
Toothpick, cover slip, methylene blue solution, glycerine, glass slide, distilled water, brush, needle, compound microscope, filter paper, and a dropper. Procedure. Pour some distilled water from a bottle in the middle of a dry glass slide. Take a clean toothpick and gently scrape the inner side of the cheek. Rub the cheek tissue on a glass slide that contains water. Mix the mixture using a needle and spread it. Take methylene blue solution using a dropper and add a few drops of it to the mixture on the slide. After 2 to 3 minutes, remove excess water and stain using a blotting paper. Take glycerine using a dropper and add a few drops of glycerine to the test mixture. Take a clean cover slip and lower it carefully on the mixture using a needle. Using a brush and needle, press the cover slip gently to spread the epithelial cells. Remove extra liquid around the cover slip using a blotting paper. Take the glass slide and place it under a compound microscope. View the slide under the compound microscope. Observation.
Several flattened, irregularly shaped silk cells can be seen. Each cell is bounded by a cell membrane and has cytoplasm inside. Centrally located nucleus is clearly visible. The layer of cells observed is called as simple aqueous epithelium. These are also called as pavement epithelium cells. No permanent vacuole is present in human cheek cell.
Conclusion. If the cells observed do not have cell walls or prominent vacuoles, the cells of the specimen on the slide are animal cells. Caution. Ensure toothpick used to scrape the cheek is clean so as to not cause infection to the cheek. Extra stain should be removed by using blotting paper.
Students, from the above activities which you have gone through, that onion peel activity and cheek cell activity, what do you observe? We can clearly see some of the important parts in both cells, animal cell and plant cell. If you compare the cell and shapes and its functions, so now let us compare the shape of the cell and its functions. See students, depending upon its function, cells are of different types. We will discuss about them in the unicellular, multicellular organisms discussion time. Now you look at the cells, they are of two types. Those are prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. So example for eukaryotic cells are plant cell and bacteria cell. Is it clear? So now we will see about both cells. What are present, what are absent in plant and animal cells. So if you observe vacuole, cell wall, green color structures which you could see, these are chloroplast and it is absent here. Nucleus, vacuole, it is absent. Golgi complex, mitochondria. So all these are organelles. So let us see how and what are those functions. First let us see. Cell wall is present in plant cell. It is absent in animal cell. Vacuoles are present in plant cell. They are absent in animal cell, and plastids are present in plant cell. What are plastids, Nana? They are green in color, chloroplast. It is nothing but. And it is absent in animal cell. See, centrioles are absent in plant cell. They are present in animal cell. These are the few differences between plant cell and an animal cell. So today in this time, let us discuss about plasma membrane or cell membrane. known as cell membrane or plasma membrane, and it is external covering of the cell. It is made up of proteins and lipids. Observe the diagram, students. So some of these proteins can move within the lipid layer of the cell membrane. So the plasma membrane allows only or permits few components or materials through it. So the enter or exit of some material in and out of the cell can be done only by this plasma membrane. For example, if you observe when you are traveling on the road, so like toll gate, they ask us to stop for a while and they'll check it and they'll send. So this is like a plasma membrane is also acting as a toll gate people. So it also prevents movement of some other materials, and it is called selectively permeable membrane. Why it is called selectively permeable membrane, Nana? You learned in your 8th class in cell structure lesson. Only certain amounts or certain materials can be passed through this membrane of the layer. So it is called selectively permeable membrane. The flexible of this cell membrane also enables the cell to engulf in food and other material from its external environment. Do you understand this, students? So like our white blood cells, against the harmful germs which enter in our body, will be fight by these white blood cells and engulf them and kill them. Similarly, here also this plasma membrane engulf and protect us. So this is called means engulfing with the unnecessary products which enables the food materials are called as endocytosis. So this entire process is called as an endocytosis. This is the nutrition method of amoeba in unicellular organisms. So this is about plasma membrane. Mainly what are the functions of plasma membrane? Functions of this plasma membrane. So students, it is outermost covering of the cell. So it gives shapes, defined shape, isn't it? And it also acts as a mechanical barrier. How? Protects from the internal and external environment or contents of the cell. It is main function selective permeability, means it allows only certain fluids through it. Endocytosis, just now I told you, it engulfs with the foreign particles which enters from the external environment into internal environment. It occurs in amoeba. It's just like amoeba acquires its food by the endocytosis process. Next, very important, flow of information. It provides from the flow of information amongst different cells of the same organism, and it also helpful for specialization. How this specialization, Nana? Plasma membrane gets modified to perform different functions such as absorption in microvilli. Microvilli, where it is located? In our small intestine, the absorption area is called as a microvilli. But very important point is, so the last point, recognition and also osmosis and diffusion. What is meant by osmosis, Nana, here? It occurs due to the presence of tiny water channels in the plasma membrane. Now let us observe the experiments of osmosis and diffusion.
Cell membrane is called selectively permeable membrane. Now, let us see the exchange of materials between cell and its surroundings. The exchange of gases takes place between the cell and its surroundings, and this happens by diffusion. Do you know what is diffusion? The movement of gas molecules from a high concentration area to low concentration area is called diffusion. Here we can see the concentration of oxygen outside the cell is high compared to its concentration inside the cell. So, the oxygen molecules enter the cell through the plasma membrane. This process is called diffusion. There is one more phenomenon through which the exchange of water takes place between the cell and its surroundings. It is osmosis. The movement of molecules through a selectively permeable membrane is called osmosis. The movement of water molecules from a place of high concentration to a place of low concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Other materials enter the cell. For the transfer of other materials into the cell, energy is required. This kind of transport is called active transport.
Composition of plasma membrane. Already we discussed, Nana. Just go through the board. Students, in the next video, let us discuss about the experiments of diffusion and osmosis. And diffusion, we need to know the hypotonic solution, isotonic solution and hypertonic solution. So let us come to this video.